right. That's it, boys. Done. I think today's session was quite quick, was it? Yeah, there you go, hour and a half. Not a bad slog today. Hips, 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 quads, quads, quads. Wide sumos. Well, sumo deadlifts, followed by wide belt squat. Lots of hips, lots of quads. A little bit of squat practice, and then lots and lots of adductor work. So just opening up the hips. When you go wide, you also do quads. Quads are good. One of the reasons I think the leg press worked so well for me was because in the leg press, for me at least, I have no solution but to go a little bit wider to get the depth. And so when you go wide in a leg press, you feel a lot of quads, a lot of adductors, a lot of hips. And so that's what I kind of try to do today with the sumo deadlift. I try to mimic somewhat what a leg press would feel like in a way, although it's not exactly isolating as a leg press, but still kind of gets the job done. So the next few weeks, I'm going to try and do this kind of work. So I'm not going to be doing this every day. You know, a lot of back work, so like a lot of rowing. So like all these things, I'm just prepping myself for the big stuff. So the next few weeks, I'm going to try and get the quads on the map. And then let's see how it goes. I'm still hoping to do some 180 AMRAPs. But I don't know, like, why don't I repeat what I did last year? Last year, I did a whole lot of accessories. I didn't do a lot of, one of the things, I don't know if I told you this, one of the things that I learned from the 180 AMRAP is that, yes, sure, it was very taxing, very, very happy with that period, but it never really eventuated in a PR, like 1 rep max, even though I got all those volume PRs. That was kind of disappointing. I was expecting a lot more. And so at the end of last year, I was like, you know what, let me not do that again. Let's try and use accessories, which are much more, doable for recovery. Why don't I just do that instead? Why don't I just absolutely hunt the living shit out of accessory movements? So this is where the belt squats came in. This is where all that stuff came in, the hack squats, the leg press. I just went, you know what, instead of me dying on the freaking AMRAP sets on the squat, which is so freaking taxing, I could probably push even harder some of these body parts through accessories. And so that's what I did. I had 4 weeks on the belt squat, 4 weeks on the hack squat, the squat PR came, which is kind of very annoying to think because I worked way harder when I was doing the 180 AMRAPs. That period, the 180 AMRAP period, was kind of shitty because I was kind of doing that before the winter. And so I remember I got 2 sicknesses in the space of 3 weeks after that 180 AMRAP. Surprise, surprise, I was fucking demolished. The immune system was spent and I just had nothing left, right? And it was a bittersweet. Like I had such beautiful progress on that AMRAP and I thought, oh shit, as soon as I start to bleed this stuff off, I'm going to be really, really good for the 1 rep maxes. And then I had basically a month of just stagnation and all those effects basically wore off and I was pissed off by that. And so later that year, I was kind of like, you know what, fuck this shit. Why should I die doing the AMRAP periods? Why don't I just hit isolation movements? Like I said, belt squat, hack squat, leg press. And I started doing that and it was a lot cheaper to recover from and much more effective. And then boom, the PR started happening. The squat started feeling really, really well. I started popping off at the bottom. It felt stacked. And that, if you look at that 215 squat, I probably had a little bit more in me. But I kind of got addicted to the accessories. And I think if I continued the hack squat, I probably would have continued with the squat PRs. But I decided to stick to the 4-week rule. And after the 4 weeks, I went to the leg press. And when the leg press started happening, I started to feel worse and worse in the squat. I started to feel like I had no legs a lot of the time. However, what started happening is I started to feel really, really strong in the deadlift. And so my focus shifted to the deadlift. And so I started like really concentrating on the rows and accessories towards that. And then the squat, that deadlift started like flying up. And so even though I really want to hit the 180 AMRAPs, they're very expensive and they don't really return the same as some of these accessory lifts. So my gut feeling is this is what I should be doing, the belt squat. Like I could probably do this twice a week, and do it for shit ton of volume. With 180 AMRAPs, you're basically doing them twice a week as well, but everything else around it is not happening. Like everything is spent. It is so freaking taxing. So it's probably not the best way to do it because, when you're doing a competition lift, right, when you're doing your main movement, it's not just the weakness that's getting worked, everything's getting worked. And so it's so expensive. When I do the belt squat, my back is not in the mix at all. And so I can put more volume into the thing that's weak, which is the quads and the hips. So in a way, it's a much more effective approach tackling all of this. So my gut feeling is to just basically have an extended period what I did last year. So, do like 6 to 8 weeks maybe of the belt squat. I don't know how I'm gonna go with the hack squat. I'll probably have to join the gym again towards the end of the year to have that, and go to it, or maybe not even join the gym, just go to it like once a week for the hack squat. Unless I could get my hands on a hack squat on Marketplace, on Facebook. I doubt it, those things are thousands of dollars. But anyway, but then again, I don't have a leg press either. So yeah, like that's kind of my thinking right now. Why don't I just excel in the accessories? Much more cheaper, and you're much more specific, hitting the weakness, the rate limiting step. So that's kind of where my mind is with all of this. So in the last part of the year, I hope in the next few weeks I start to really feel good in the bench press and start to realize some of those volume months that I did. But let's see what happens with that. But now I'm going to start to kind of trickle in the quad accessories. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. Lots of back work, lots of quad work. Let's see if I can put it all together. Like always, boys, appreciate you.